Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Income is the Outcome, where we believe it's not how much you earn, it's how much you keep. I'm your host, Kristen Oakley, and joining me in the studio is the founder and president of the Whistler Agency, Tim Whistler. We've got a great show for you today. The title of today's show is Your Lost or Forgotten 401k, How to Unlock Your Hidden Retirement Potential. And if you want to know how to simplify, organize, and maximize your retirement savings, you don't want to miss today's conversation. Tim, my friend, great to be here with you. How are you this week?
I'm great, Kristen. It's always great to be here with you as well.
Well, thank you. This is going to be a really fun and informative conversation. Again, we're talking about the treasure of your lost or forgotten 401k. And up front, we just want to set the tone for today's conversation. We are going to be using the phrase 401k throughout, but really this conversation applies to whatever type of retirement plan you might have from your employer. For you, it could be an old 401k, an old 403b, TSP 457. So just know that this conversation applies to you. And really, Tim, we have some great research we're going to be sharing with our viewers. This conversation was birthed out of these staggering stats. Are you ready for this?
Yes, they are unbelievable, aren't they?
They are unbelievable. So yes, this is the significant growth of lost or forgotten 401k accounts floating around out there. So this is according to the Fintech company Capitalize. And as of May 2023, there are 29.2 million left behind or forgotten 401k accounts out there, holding approximately $1.65 trillion in assets, which represents 25% of all 401k plan assets currently being invested. The average American worker has 3 to 5 old dormant accounts floating around out there, and the average balance in those lost 401ks is over $56,000. So let's stop there and recap. I mean, the average American's got 3 to 5 old accounts out there with an average balance of $56,000. That is a lot of lost money.
Yeah,
it's just out there.
It's staggering. I'm like, how is that even possible?
Right.
But clearly it's possible. And that study is just a couple of years old. It's not that old.
Right.
And you just wonder, what are the numbers looking like now?
Yeah, for sure.
Are we on a different path, hopefully? Or are we still kind of on this path where we have to do a little bit better job of trying to remember where we, when we left ABC company to go to work for XYZ company,
right.
Bring our 401k along with us. Don't be a statistic.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and we're going to get into all the reasons why this is the enormous amount that it is. But I'm curious, how common is it when folks come in to meet with you for the first time? Do you find that most people fit this statistic and do have these old accounts?
You know, it does come up every now and then. It's very, very rare, but when it does come up, it's very interesting because a couple of the situations that come to mind in our previous conversations with folks is when we send out, prior to our first meeting, that document collection checklist. That little reminder of saying, look, when we get together to be able to put together that retirement income plan for them, these are the documents you want to bring with you. And right on that form, almost at the very top of the form, it says copies of your most recent 401k statements. And I've had folks come in that said, you know what, I'm so glad you sent that document to me because it triggered my mind thinking, you know what, I almost forgot about that 401k. I need to go out and find that statement. So it doesn't happen a whole lot in our practice, but I've seen it enough to completely believe these statistics that you just read. It's staggering.
For sure. Well, let's talk about why it is so common and why the statistics are the way they are, because times have really changed, and part of it is that whole concept of womb to tomb employment no longer exists, right?
That's right. You know, it really is easy to lose track, because I came across another statistic not too long ago that said, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, those born between 1957 and 1964 held an average of over 12 jobs before reaching the age of 54.
Wow.
So I paused on that for a second. I thought, okay, prior to my opening the practice in 2004, I went back to after I graduated college with my degree and started in corporate America.
Right.
From 1992 to 2004, in that 12-year period of time, I held 3 different jobs.
Wow, yeah. So you were on track to fit that stat, right?
I was going to be a statistic, you know. You know, and I just think too, you know, with each job, like you said, it's no longer the same dynamic of retirement like it used to be. You work for the same company for 35, 40 years, you have a party, you get a gold watch, you have a pension. That's not what we're doing anymore. It's the dynamics has changed. That's why we talk about the Baby Boomer Dilemma movie as well.
Right.
So I just think, you know, people can lose track It's very simple. If we don't have a good set of organizational skills, which I think all of us can improve a little bit there.
For sure.
We might forget about that statement, right? Or maybe we forgot about the options that were available to us after we left. We're so excited maybe about the new chapter with our new job, we kind of just dismiss the exit strategy from the previous position.
Right. Or if you're unexpectedly laid off, it's kind of the last thing on your mind. You're so stressed trying to find a new job, right? That this is the last thing that is on the to-do list.
Exactly. So there can be a couple different variables that might cause us to be one of those statistics.
Right, for sure. Well, if that's you, know that you're not alone. Take a deep breath. There's no judgment here. This is a judgment-free zone. And the stats prove, this is a 2020 study by Fidelity, and it revealed that approximately 30% of people who left a job had either forgotten about or lost track of their old 401k accounts. And so it is very common. And here's the issue, too. These accounts don't just automatically come with you when you leave a job. But you do have options. So let's share with our viewers, what are typically the options that are available to someone when they leave a previous place of employment?
So if we can simplify that, because when they leave, they get that pretty thick document.
Right, yep.
So basically, here are the options in no particular order. You can roll that 401k into a traditional IRA. So when we talk about this, we'll go a little bit deeper here today, but you want to be very, very cautious when we do a rollover, because number one, are the dollars pre-tax or are they after-tax dollars? And if we roll them, are we going to do a direct or an indirect approach? We'll talk about that in a second. The second approach, you could roll a 401k from an old employer into your new employer 401k if they permit that. You have to check with your new employer. Sometimes companies won't want to mess with the prior 401k, but some folks like the simplicity of that. Let's just bring over ABC's 401k to XYZ's 401k. That's an option. Third option, we cash it out. Right? So heaven forbid, I hope we don't have to execute that, because that's going to trigger taxes if they're pre-tax dollars, and if we're not that certain age, it'll also include a fee, a pre-withdrawal fee as well.
Right.
And then the other last option there is just to leave it right where it is.
Right, which clearly is what most people are doing.
That's what people are doing.
Right,
That's evident.
The set it, forget it, just leave it, right?
May not be the best option out there, but people are doing that clearly.
Exactly, yeah. And that's why we're going to spend the rest of today's show talking about a lot of the problems that come with trying to maintain these old accounts. And don't worry, we're not going to leave you there. We're going to share the solution as well. But what would you say to someone watching right now who is raising their hand and going, yeah, that's me, I've got some old accounts, or I don't even know where my account is right now?
Right. There are resources available to us. Number one, I did some research on this, and there are actually a couple of good resources available to us. The National Registry of Unclaimed Retirement Benefits, that's out there. If a company has gone out of business, that also might be a situation where we maybe forget about that. The U.S. Department of Labor maintains a list of abandoned plans. And then also check old statements, check prior email accounts, review former tax returns. Sometimes that might trigger, like, oh yeah, I forgot about I worked there 18 years ago, that type of thing. So our focus, folks, is, again, like Kristen said, no one's judging. It happens to everybody. Clearly, it's happened to many, many millions of Americans across the country. If it's you, that's okay. Let's sit down, let's schedule the conversation, let's bring in the statements of the accounts that we have, and let's put them to use. What is the best way to leverage those hard-earned dollars that you save for decades as part of your future retirement income plan?
Wonderful. Tim, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, we have a lot more to get to, but this is a great opportunity for you to reach out and have the Get Acquainted conversation with Tim. He would love to be able to provide you with a complimentary written financial plan. This is for no cost, no charge, no obligation. It's simply an invitation to have a conversation to see how he and the team can help and serve you. To claim yours, simply call 888-992-7829. Or if you'd rather connect online, just scan the QR code that you see there in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and that will get you connected as well. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to dive deeply into the risks and the problems with trying to maintain these old left-behind accounts. And we're not going to leave you there. We're going to provide the solution for you as well right after this.
Being independent means that I don't have a boss to answer to, which is very, very empowering. My bosses are my clients. So that way, because I'm independent, I have the ability to focus more on what the client's looking for and going and finding that company to kind of create those ideal individualized retirement income plans. When you transition into retirement, you're going to go through a second phase of life. You've never gone in there before, but you don't have to walk that journey by yourself. We will walk hand in hand at the pace that's set by the client. We take a very holistic, high-level approach to the overall plan for a client, but we break it down on their household level, case by case, customized for exactly what they're looking to do. And that's how we truly, I think that's how we separate ourselves in the industry. Hi, I'm Tim Whistler, retirement income planner and author of License to Spend, a retirement plan based on income as opposed to IFCOME. Everyone should enter retirement with confidence. In my new book, I share proven strategies to help you plan for a confident and secure future. To take the first step, scan the QR code to reserve a spot on our calendar for a no-obligation, get-acquainted conversation, and you'll also receive a complimentary copy of my book, License to Spend.
Well, welcome back. You're watching Income is the Outcome. I'm Kristen Oakley here with Tim Whistler, and we're so glad you're joining us today. If you're just tuning in, the title of this episode is The Treasure of Your Lost or Forgotten 401k. We want you to unlock your hidden retirement potential. And as we already established, Tim, so many folks have money out there that's just not working hard for them because they've left it behind or forgotten about it, right?
That's right. Those statistics are just astounding, and we want to lower those numbers. We have to be better. We have to be better. And those dollars, again, were very, very difficult to come by. We definitely want to bring them forward because they're going to play a key role in retirement.
For sure. And again, this is a very common situation. So if that's you out there and you're like, yeah, that's me, I fit that statistic, don't worry. We understand it is very common, but we want to help shed some light on why it's such a problem. What are the risks and the problems with leaving these accounts behind and trying to maintain them? So that's what we're going to dive into now. And as we've said, we're going to provide the solution for you later in the show as well. But what are the main risks and problems of having multiple old retirement accounts just scattered around and left behind?
You know, when the dollars are left behind just sitting there, there's a couple of things that are not happening anymore. We're not contributing to them anymore. So the account value is not grown by contributions anymore. If you were working for a company who provided a match to your contributions, that's out of the picture as well. So they're kind of sitting dormant. And then another thing that's happening is if those dollars are sitting there just kind of existing, they're not a part of a plan right now.
Right.
They're just kind of out there. And I literally came across this article not too long ago that talked about the cost of leaving a 401k behind. It says about $4.55 per month in fees out on average. Now that may not sound a whole lot, but when you just heard Kristen and those statistics in the first segment, how many years they're sitting there, that can add up. That's significant. So now all of a sudden, the account's dormant.
Right.
It's probably not allocated the way it should be.
Yep.
Because now it's just simply right in the ebbs and flows of the stock market. You've got fees. In our industry, the four-letter F word is fees. We do not like those fees.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, it's not part of anything. It doesn't have purpose behind it.
And it's not working together for you.
Exactly right.
Right. Well, let's go even deeper. Those are great points. And the reality is there's lots of problems with trying to maintain these old accounts. We've got a comprehensive list here. We want to go through each one and spend a little time explaining and expanding on them. First, limited investment choices. Talk about why it's so limiting to just leave money in something like a 401k.
You know, think in terms of when we go out to eat, right? You've got the full menu, and you might have a partial menu.
Yep.
A 401k is a partial menu. These are the options we can invest in, so therefore we're very limited on what we can put those dollars into. And those options, Kristen, quite frankly, may not align with our risk tolerance. So we're limited on our investment options, and plus there's fees involved with those as well.
Right. Yep. So let's talk about the fees because, again, a lot of people assume that this money is being managed for free. It's not. No,
we're paying somebody because there's, every 401k out there has what they call a custodian.
Yep.
So it's up to the discretion of the company of what custodian they want to hire to help manage the 401k. Well, again, there's fees involved, right? We have to pay people for the professional services that they're providing to you to give you the options of the investments and to help that grow in the most efficient way as we can. But there are fees involved with that.
Absolutely.
So again, if we leave those dollars behind, and again, the 401k provider can't provide advice.
I was going to say that's another issue, right?
Yeah.
Less access to personal advice. So that might seem counterintuitive. People are like, well, wait, I'm paying a fee, but what are you telling me? I get less access to personal advice? Explain that.
Yeah, it's just like, it's almost like Social Security, right? It's just like when we talk about Social Security, do not expect to get advice from them. They're not going to be providing you any advice. 401k plan providers are the exact same way. They are not, you have to actually go another layer deeper to be able to get to that department, if you will, of them maybe providing you some type of advice on your holdings. But on the base 401k plan provider, there are fees and there's no advice being given. So, I mean, where are we really getting the value for our dollar?
Exactly. No, good points. Also, when you reach RMD age, which currently for most folks is age 73, if you were born after 1960, or 1960 and later, I should say, it's age 75. So why can that present a problem when you hit RMD age if you've left an old 401k behind?
So let's assume that 401k left behind is a pre-tax 401k, right? It's tax deferred. Then let's say we have a traditional IRA, also pre-tax, also qualified. Just like Kristen said, when you get to that age of RMD and you are required to withdraw the minimum distributions, you have to take an RMD from a 401k and you have to take an RMD from your IRA. You cannot commingle them. And that will trip people up a lot.
Yes.
Because they're like, well, they're classified the same and I have an RMD age and I just want to take it out of one. You cannot do that, because if you get found out that you do that, not only do you still have to go back and pay the taxes on the 401k you did not withdraw from, guess what also shows up?
A nice big fat penalty.
Big penalty of possibly up to 25%. So just, again, we're not belittling the value of a 401k. We're just simply saying that if you're not with that company anymore, we may want to maybe consider some options and maybe bringing that over somewhere else, because another thing we're going to talk about is, we talked about that limited menu with the 401k.
Right.
If we roll that into a traditional IRA, now we've got a buffet in front of us. Now we can pick for the different investment options available to us.
For sure. And you have more control over your hard-earned money, and you can choose the investment choices that are best for you versus just the limited partial menu that's available to you, right?
Exactly. And not only that, as we age, chances are our allocations might want to change a little bit because our risk tolerance changes.
For sure.
Right? We hear all the time, I'm getting a little bit older, Tim, I don't want to take on as much risk anymore. That totally makes sense. And we completely agree with that.
For sure. Well, and just real quick, wrapping up the RMD discussion, I think it's so important. You did such a great job of explaining that. This is the problem, is you can aggregate and tie together your IRAs, but again, there's different rules around these 401ks. So if you have that old account and you've forgotten about it and you don't take the RMD from that one account, guess what? Big trouble. You're going to have to pay the tax and that additional 25% penalty.
Yeah, we don't like surprises, and we certainly want to avoid regrets.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good way to put it. Well, we still have more here on our list. The next one, this is another crucial one. Your beneficiary designations could easily become out of date. Explain why that's so problematic.
We just did a two-part show on estate planning, and we talked about the value and the importance of updating your beneficiaries, because again, just like we talked about on that episode, when you have a 401k account, those dollars will get passed on according to your wishes. So if your old 401k is sitting out there, chances are your beneficiaries may have changed over that period of time. But that doesn't matter, because if you pass away and that's where the beneficiaries were designated at that time, that's where they're going to go.
Right, that's who's going to get that money.
That's who's going to get the money, and then all of a sudden here comes the court cases right after that.
Yep.
So it's always a good idea for us to kind of review back to that and say, okay, if I have these old 401ks, does it make sense to leave them where they are at? And if so, are the beneficiaries updated?
For sure, because again, it doesn't matter, even if your will says you want it to go to the right person, let's say the current spouse, if you still have the ex-spouse listed as the beneficiary, that is who's going to get that pile of money. So very important to know where your accounts are and make sure those beneficiary designations are updated. And then finally, the last item on your list, and unfortunately it's happened to folks, your account could literally get lost because plan providers change, maybe you move, right? I mean, there's so many things that can go wrong.
That's exactly right. And that's why we kind of, when we went over that list of the resources that are available, I think those are so important for us to understand, because there are things out of our control.
Yes.
And when that happens to us, and if we're not taking steps to provide good organizations and maybe track those different types of statements, it could get lost.
Yep.
You think in terms of, I think this one applies to a lot of people. You see the trend to go from the monthly printed statements to the electronic statements. And where do they go? They go to an email inbox.
Yep, the black hole of the email inbox. Yeah.
Good luck finding that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't create a folder for that to have it automatically go in, but even chances are, what's even worse? You change your email address. And some people do that. We go from Gmail to Yahoo or vice versa. We forget that that's our 401k statements. you forget to bring that over, and now you're a statistic.
Yeah, exactly right.
So we want to make sure that we can do what we can do to prevent our accounts from being lost.
Yeah, for sure. So I know when we come back, we're going to dive more deeply into the solution, but in one word, what is the solution to this lost or forgotten 401k problem?
Just consolidation is really what it boils down to. You know, looking at those previous 401ks and knowing where they're at, let's just talk about what makes sense. We need to have, what was it, 12 jobs over our here? I mean, do we need to have 12 401k statements every month? No, we don't need to do that. Let's consolidate. Let's create purpose with these dollars, again, because they're going to play a vital role in our retirement income plan.
Wonderful. And we're going to dive more into that when we come back. Tim, thank you so much. But to our viewers at home, if this is resonating with you, again, if you know that you have these old, forgotten about accounts and you want to make sure that your money is working hard for you and you want to make sure that they are consolidated properly, we encourage you to reach out to Tim and the team of the Whistler Agency and receive your very own complimentary written financial plan. They'll be able to discuss that and so much more with you, but you got to pick up the phone and call. That number to call is 888-992-7829. Or if you'd rather connect online, just scan that QR code and that will get you connected as well. When we come back, Tim is going to dive more deeply into consolidation. You want to make sure that you do it correctly. He's going to walk you through how to do that right after this.
Did you know the strategy you choose for claiming Social Security can make a big difference in your retirement income? Small differences in your filing approach can add up over time, affecting your financial future. It's not just about delaying benefits. It's about tailoring your decision to your financial goals, expected longevity, and income needs. The Bipartisan Budget Act of 2015 reshaped Social Security filing rules, eliminating popular strategies like file and suspend. Many retirees may not realize how these changes could affect their benefits. If it's been a while since you have reviewed your Social Security plan, now could be the perfect time to reassess. A customized Social Security analysis can help you navigate your options and create a strategy that works for you. Too many people enter retirement without a plan or a tax strategy and end up paying the price. Every dollar you save on taxes is a dollar that can help secure your retirement. At the Whistler Agency, we specialize in creating financial strategies that include smart tax planning. It's not about quick fixes or magic formulas. It's about building a comprehensive plan. We're offering a complimentary portfolio review and tax strategy session. To get you started, scan the QR code to reserve a spot on our calendar, and you'll be glad you did.
Welcome back to Income is the Outcome, where today Tim and I have been discussing the treasure of your lost or forgotten 401k account. The reality is we know so many folks have old workplace retirement plans that you might have left behind at a previous place of employment. They could be stuck in low returning investments and high fees. Bottom line, your money's not working hard for you, and that's what we want it to do. We want to help folks have a solution to this, which you mentioned before the break, is to consolidate these accounts. What are the main advantages of engaging in consolidation?
Well, number one, it simplifies the process. That's the first thing it does. It really just, from the big picture standpoint, we don't have as much things we have to manage anymore, right? We consolidate, we can narrow them down. Number two, I think what it does, it allows for better control of our portfolio. In other words, when we sit down with folks and we start talking about how do we prepare our assets to provide income that we need, we're going to talk about having a balanced portfolio. And when we talk through that, and we've talked about that on the show previously, we talk about when you do that, it provides more control. Your assets are allocated where they need to be. Your accounts serve purpose, because again, those assets are no longer about growth. They're all about distributing income. So we can simplify it. It gives us better control over our assets. It reduces the risk of having outdated or underperforming investments. If we leave just something sitting out there since 2014, chances are it's not serving us very well.
Right.
It's not being updated. It's not going to be current with market trends. So that's not a situation we want to be a part of. Fees. We talked about that, just that article that I just shared a little while ago, $4.55 on average per month. That adds up in a hurry. Because when we decide to maybe execute the option of rolling over dollars, 401k dollars to a traditional IRA, we have the opportunity to sometimes find an IRA that does not have fees involved.
Right.
That's a big, big deal.
Exactly.
Right? Again, we have some improved investment options, but I also like this one here. We talked about this one. It ensures that you take the correct RMD.
Yes. Yep.
Because that is the one, folks, we do not want to miss this one at all. That's why we stress this constantly. It's with no insult to anybody's intelligence. It's from the standpoint of we've been doing this for a number of years. We want to make sure that you avoid the pitfalls and challenges that can come from missing something and it end up costing you a fee or more in taxes than we need to do that.
For sure.
So it ensures that we take the RMD, and again, that it simplifies your finances. And then I love this too, that in Fidelity did a study back in 2023. It said studies show that those with actively managed retirement funds tend to have 35% more savings in retirement. Not about anybody else out there, but I would like to be in that category.
Right,
Let's
you and me
have
both.
more savings, right?
Yes.
So the consolidation has a multitude of benefits for us, and it certainly is something we should explore.
For sure. Real quickly, I think we need to touch on the tax implications of engaging in consolidation, because I think a misconception folks have is, oh, well, I don't want to do a rollover and trigger a taxable event. So walk us through how to do it correctly.
So there's two ways of doing it. We can do a direct rollover or an indirect rollover. And just at a high level, the one we recommend every single time is the direct rollover, because the direct rollover basically says that the dollars are going to go from one entity to the next entity, a trustee to trustee transfer, right? It's not going through your checking account. Therefore, it's going to maintain the integrity of being a tax-deferred account from where it currently resides to a tax-deferred account to the new location. And because that's the situation, and because we're not withdrawing the dollars or cashing them out, there's no tax implication at all on the direct rollover approach.
And so that's the key, right? Is doing it correctly, because you and I have both heard horror stories or seen folks try to do this on their own, and it's gone horribly wrong. But yet this is something you do day in and day out for your clients. You engage in this consolidation. It's a routine thing that you are very familiar with and can help folks walk through.
And this is part of the process. When they sit down with us, we sit down, we go through the initial consult, right? The initial conversation, the discovery conversation, whatever you want to label that. And we're getting to know each other. And I'm asking you questions of, what's retirement look like for you? What do you want to do in retirement? What are the things you want to do? How often are you going to go see the grandkids? What type of trips you're going to take? Right? We're talking about the new lifestyle you're getting ready to encounter because now you're retired. Now the back half of that conversation is now our assets. How do we leverage those assets that you've worked and saved and sacrificed for decades now are going to be the foundation for the income you need? So when we sit down, we're going to go through this process together, consolidate things, simplify the process, but you're going to walk away with a complimentary written financial plan. And Kristen, that is where the beauty resides. We have a plan in place. It'll walk us down that roadmap or down that journey in retirement, because now we have a roadmap involved.
For sure, and it's going to help simplify, organize, and maximize folks' retirement savings, right?
That would be ideal, yes ma'am.
Awesome. Tim, thank you so much. And to our viewers at home, thank you for watching. Again, that number to call to claim your complimentary written financial plan is 888-992-7829. Be safe, be happy, be blessed, and we look forward to being back with you next time here on Income is the Outcome.